The text message Rain sent at 3:17 a.m. was meant for her boyfriend Marcus. "Come over. I'm naked and ready for you, baby. I need you inside me now." 10 minutes later, her dorm door, which she had left unlocked for Marcus, opened. But the man who walked in wasn't her boyfriend. He was Lim Jae-sung, Seoul's most dangerous mafia boss, and his dark eyes held a question that made her soul stop. "You texted. I came. Now explain how you got my number before I enact the 64 ways I decided to kill you on my way here." Welcome to Melanin Meets Seoul, my loves. Please like, share, and subscribe. And now, the story begins. Rain had consumed an entire bottle of cheap convenience store wine, and her inhibitions were currently on vacation somewhere between bad decisions and, "Oh God, what am I doing?" Her fingers flew across her phone keyboard with the confidence of someone who would deeply regret this in approximately 10 minutes. "Come over. I'm naked and ready for you, baby. I need you inside me now." Send. "I want you to make me scream so loud my neighbors complain. I want you to take me so hard I can't walk for days." Send. "Get here in 10 minutes or I'm starting without you." Send. She giggled, tossing her phone onto her bed and stumbling toward her tiny dorm bathroom mirror. Her reflection showed everything wrong with her life choices. Her beautiful dark brown skin, flushed from wine. Her natural curls absolutely chaotic around her shoulders. Her curvy body wrapped in nothing but a towel. "Marcus is gonna lose his damn mind," she whispered to herself, applying one more layer of lip gloss because drunk Rain had standards. Her boyfriend had been so distant lately, always busy with his finance internship or whatever. Tonight, she'd fix that. Tonight, she'd remind him exactly what he had. She left the door unlocked. Marcus had a key, but whatever, convenience, and positioned herself on her bed in what she hoped was a seductive and not awkward mannequin, having a seizure still in the towel, even though she has texted that she was naked. 3 minutes passed. She adjusted. 5 minutes. She checked her phone. 8 minutes. The door opened. Rain didn't look up immediately, too busy trying to arrange her arm in a way that didn't cut off circulation. "Took you long enough, baby. Now get over here and—" "I want you inside me right now," she purred, still not looking at the door. "I want you to take me so hard that I can't walk for days." She turned and screamed. The man standing in her doorway was definitely not Marcus. He was taller, way taller, at least 6'3", with the kind of face that made evil look beautiful. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that could probably see through walls and definitely through her soul. Black hair swept back perfectly despite the ungodly hour. Expensive black suit that cost more than her entire semester's tuition. And an expression of cold amusement mixed with something dangerous that made every nerve in her body scream, "Run!" Rain scrambled backward, grabbing her towel to cover herself, then immediately grabbed the empty wine bottle from her nightstand and held it like a weapon. "Who the hell are you?" she shrieked, her voice going up about 7 octaves. "How did you get in here? I'm calling the police. I'm calling campus security. I'm calling—" "Word of advice. Always keep your door locked," the man said calmly, his voice deep and smooth and absolutely terrifying. He pulled out his phone, expensive, sleek, and showed her the screen. Her messages glowed there, complete with her contact name and those absolutely mortifying texts she'd sent. "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God." "You texted," he said, his dark eyes never leaving hers. "I came. Now explain how you got my number before I enact the 64 ways I decided to kill you on my way here." Rain's brain completely short-circuited. She looked at the phone, at her messages, at this terrifyingly gorgeous stranger in her dorm room while she was naked, except for a blanket. What? No, Marcus? Her words came out in fragments. This is Marcus's number. I texted my boyfriend. Who the fuck are you? Marcus? The man's eyebrow raised slightly. There's no Marcus. This is my private number. A number exactly 7 people in the entire world have access to. So I'll ask again. How did you get it? I don't know. Rain was legitimately panicking now, wine and terror making her thoughts spin. I texted Marcus, my boyfriend Marcus Chen. I've had this number for 8 months. You're not— Wait. She grabbed her phone with one hand while clutching the blanket with the other, nearly dropping both. The contact read, Marcus, exactly as it should. But the number. She pulled up their message history. Their conversations were all there. 8 months of good morning, baby, and can't wait to see you, and I love you. But tonight's messages, her mortifying sexts, those went to a different thread? I don't understand, she whispered, staring at the screen. This is his number. I've texted him 1,000 times. I don't— Who are you? The man interrupted, stepping further into her room and closing the door behind him, with a quiet click that sounded like a death sentence. Rain pressed herself against the headboard. I'm nobody. I'm a college student. I'm an economics major who makes terrible decisions and drinks cheap wine. Please don't kill me. I don't know how I got your number. This is all a mistake. The man studied her for a long moment, his dark eyes traveling over her face, her terrified expression, her death grip on the blanket. Something shifted in his expression. Not softer, but different, curious. You really don't know who I am, he said slowly. It wasn't a question. No. Should I? Are you famous? Are you a celebrity? Oh God, did I accidentally sext a K-pop idol? Rain was spiraling now, her thoughts running wild. I'm so sorry. I'll delete everything. I'll sign an NDA. Just please don't sue me or kill me or— I'm not an idol, the man said, and there was the faintest trace of amusement in his voice now. I'm Lim Jae-sung. The name meant nothing to her. He seemed to realize this, and that trace of amusement grew. You genuinely have no idea. No idea about what? Rain clutched her blanket tighter. Listen, Lim Jae-sung, or whoever you are, this is clearly a misunderstanding. I thought you were my boyfriend. I didn't mean to text you. I don't even know how this happened. Just leave, okay? We can forget this ever happened. I'll change my number. Her phone buzzed. They both looked at it. A new message appeared in the Marcus thread. Sorry, baby, for being off lately. I really love you. I will see you soon. Rain stared at the message, then at the man in her room, then back at her phone. Her voice came out strangled. That's from Marcus. Right now? But you're here, which means, Lim Jae-sung said quietly, his eyes darkening with something dangerous. Someone wanted me to receive your messages. Someone who knows my private number, which is impossible, and wanted me to come here. To you, and they did so by interrupting my meeting. The temperature in the room dropped about 10 degrees. Oh my God, Rain whispered. Am I in danger? Are you going to kill me? Is this a setup? I swear I don't know anything about— Wait, did you say you're in a meeting? Who the hell has a meeting at 3 a.m.? She was panicking, words tumbling out faster now as the reality crashed over her. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. I'm going to wake up. This is a nightmare from cheap wine. I told myself to stop drinking that convenience store garbage, but do I listen? No. And now there's a strange man in my room talking about killing me and— Stop. His voice wasn't loud, but it cut through her panic like a knife. Rain's whole body froze, her mouth snapping shut mid-ramble. Lim Jae-sung took another step closer, and Rain realized with dawning horror that he was even more devastating up close. Sharp features that looked carved from stone. Dark eyes that saw everything. Lips that probably never smiled, but would be lethal if they did. "The Mafia world never sleeps," he said softly, answering her 3 a.m. meeting question. "We conduct business when legitimate society is dreaming, and right now, you've created a very interesting problem." Mafia? Rain's voice came out as a squeak. "Did you just say mafia?" "I did." "As in organized crime mafia? Guns and violence and—" "Yes." Rain dropped the wine bottle. It thunked on her bed harmlessly, but she barely noticed because she was too busy having a complete mental breakdown. "Nope," she said, shaking her head rapidly. "Nope, nope, nope. This isn't real. I'm hallucinating. The wine was poisoned. I'm dying. This is a dying hallucination, and—" She reached over and slapped herself, across the face, hard. Lim Jae-sung's eyebrows rose slightly, the most expression she'd seen from him yet. "What are you doing?" "Waking up." Rain slapped herself again. "This is a nightmare. I'm going to wake up and— Ow! Why isn't it working?" "Because you're not dreaming," he said, and there was definitely amusement in his voice now, subtle, but there. "You're very much awake, and very much in trouble." Rain stopped slapping herself and stared at him with wide, terrified eyes. "What kind of trouble?" "The kind where my entire organization just saw your explicit text messages appear on the screen during a very important meeting," Lim Jae-sung said calmly. "The kind where every single one of my men now believes you're my woman. The kind where, in our world, that means something." "Your woman?" Rain's voice went up again. "I'm not your woman. I don't even know you. I have a boyfriend. This is all a mistake." "Yes," he agreed. "But the mistake has been made. And in my world, we take these things seriously." He moved closer, and Rain pressed herself harder against the headboard, very aware she was still only covered by a blanket, and this man was a literal crime boss who could probably kill her 17 different ways before she finished screaming. "So here's what's going to happen," Lim Jae-sung said, his dark eyes boring into hers. "You're going to tell me everything about this Marcus, every detail, every conversation, every moment that led to tonight, because someone set this up, and I'm going to find out who and why." "And if I don't?" Rain whispered. His smile was slow and absolutely terrifying. "Then I'll assume you're part of the setup. And trust me, sweetheart, you don't want me to assume that." The way he said sweetheart, cold, dangerous, with just a hint of something else, made Rain's entire body react in ways that were absolutely inappropriate given she was being threatened by a mafia boss. "I'll tell you everything," she said quickly. "Just, can I put on clothes first, please?" Lim Jae-sung's eyes traveled down to the blanket she was clutching, then back to her face. Something flashed in his gaze, something hot and dangerous that made her breath catch. "5 minutes," he said. "I'll be right outside this door. Don't try to run. Don't try to call anyone. Don't do anything stupid." "How do you know I'll listen?" Rain asked before she could stop herself. He leaned in close, so close she could smell his cologne, expensive and intoxicating, and his lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Because if you run," he whispered, his breath warm against her ear, "I'll find you, and the next time I walk into your room, I won't be asking questions first." Then he was gone, the door closing quietly behind him, and Rain sat there trembling with a cocktail of terror and something else she absolutely refused to examine. She scrambled off the bed, grabbing clothes at random. Jeans, a sweater, underwear that wasn't her special occasion, set, thank God. Her hands shook as she dressed, her mind racing through everything that just happened. A Mafia boss, in her dorm room, because she'd accidentally sexted him instead of Marcus. Marcus, her boyfriend of 8 months, sweet, boring Marcus with his finance internship and his careful kisses and his complete emotional distance lately. Marcus, who apparently had a phone number that somehow connected to a literal crime lord's private line. What the hell was going on? Rain pulled on her jeans and realized she was still slightly drunk, still terrified, and still somehow aware that Lim Jae-sung was the most dangerously attractive man she'd ever seen in her life. Get it together, she hissed at herself, yanking the sweater over her head. He's a criminal. He threatened to kill you. You have a boyfriend. This is a nightmare. Focus. She shoved her feet into slippers, ran her fingers through her wild curls in a futile attempt at control, and took 3 deep breaths. Then she opened the door. Lim Jae-sung stood in the hallway, leaning against the wall with his phone in hand, looking like he belonged in a fashion magazine, not a college dormitory. He glanced up when she appeared, his dark eyes scanning her newly clothed form with an expression she couldn't read. "Better," he said. "Now talk." Rain swallowed hard and led him back into her room, leaving the door open this time because having a strange man in her bedroom with the door closed felt like inviting even more disaster. She sat on her desk chair. He remained standing, dominating the small space just by existing. "Marcus Chen," Rain started, her voice steadier now. "We met 8 months ago at a campus party. He's a finance major, senior year, has an internship at some investment firm downtown. We've been dating since September." "Describe him," Lim Jae-sung said. Korean, about 5'10". Short black hair, glasses, kind of quiet, smart. He's always busy with work stuff." Rain twisted her hands together. "He's been really distant lately, always canceling dates, always working late. I thought maybe he was losing interest, which is why She gestured vaguely at her phone. "Tonight." "You thought seducing him would fix your relationship," Lim Jae-sung said, and there was no judgment in his voice, just observation. "Something like that," Rain muttered. "Bad plan, clearly." "Where does he live?" "Off-campus apartment, Gangnam district. But I've only been there twice. He always comes here or we meet out somewhere." "Do you have a photo?" Rain grabbed her phone and pulled up her gallery. She found a selfie from 2 months ago. Her and Marcus at a cafe, her smiling bright, him looking somewhat uncomfortable next to her. She handed the phone to Lim Jae-sung. He studied the photo for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then he pulled out his own phone, took a picture of her screen, and handed it back. "I'm going to have my people look into him," he said. "Find out who he really is, what his connection is to my organization." "Connection?" Rain's stomach dropped. "You think Marcus is involved in your world?" "I think someone very deliberately set this situation up," Lim Jae-sung said, his dark eyes meeting hers. "And your boyfriend is the most obvious connection point. So yes, I think he's involved." Rain felt sick. "But he's just a finance student. He's boring. He has my private number," Lim Jae-sung interrupted quietly. "A number that should be impossible to obtain. Which means he's either incredibly skilled, incredibly connected, or working for someone who is." The room spun slightly. Rain gripped the edge of her desk. This can't be real. Marcus isn't... He wouldn't... Her phone buzzed again. Another message from Marcus. I am just texting again to tell you that I love you even extra. Rain stared at the message, then at Lim Jae-sung. That is weird. He never double texts. And he does it tonight, Lim Jae-sung said. How happily coincidental. The words hung in the air, terrible and true. Rain's hands started shaking again. Why? Why would he do that? Make you come here? That, Lim Jae-sung said softly, is what I intend to find out. He moved toward the door, and Rain stood quickly. Wait, what happens now? Are you going to... am I in danger? He paused, turning back to look at her. In the dim light of her dorm room, with shadows cutting across his sharp features, he looked both beautiful and terrifying. Yes, he said simply. If someone went through this much trouble to connect you to me, they have a plan, and that plan likely involves using you as a weapon or a weakness. Oh God, Rain whispered. But, Lim Jae-sung continued, something shifting in his expression, you're under my protection now, whether you want to be or not. My men saw those messages. They believe you're mine, which means anyone who touches you answers to me. The way he said mine sent a shiver down Rain's spine that had nothing to do with fear. I don't want protection from a Mafia boss, she said, trying to sound firm. I want my normal life back. I want to go to class and study for finals and forget this ever happened. Too late. His voice was soft but absolute. Your normal life ended the moment you sent that text. Now you're in my world, and in my world, I protect what's mine. I'm not yours. Rain's voice rose in frustration. I don't belong to you. This is crazy. Lim Jae-sung smiled then. A real smile. Small and dangerous and devastatingly attractive. Tell yourself that if it helps you sleep at night, but we both know something changed the moment I walked through that door. He was right, and Rain hated that he was right. Something had changed. Something had cracked open inside her chest when their eyes first met, and she had no idea what it was or what it meant, but it terrified her more than his threats. Get some sleep, Lim Jae-sung said, pulling a card from his pocket and setting it on her desk. That's my number, my real number. If anything happens, if anyone approaches you, if you remember anything about Marcus that seems off, you call me immediately. And if I don't? Rain challenged. His smile widened, just slightly. Then I'll be very disappointed. And you don't want to disappoint me, Rain. The way he said her name, like he was tasting it, learning it, claiming it, made her knees weak. Then he was gone, disappearing into the hallway as silently as he'd arrived, leaving Rain standing in her disaster of a dorm room with a business card that probably led to more trouble than she could imagine. She looked down at the card. Simple, elegant, just a phone number embossed in black on expensive cardstock. Her phone buzzed one more time. Marcus, sweet dreams, baby. Rain stared at that message for a long time, her mind replaying everything. The wrong number, the Mafia boss in her room, the way Marcus had been distant, the way none of this made sense. She typed back, "You too. Love you." But as she hit send, she couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just sent that message to a complete stranger. The next morning, Rain stumbled into her 9 a.m. economics lecture looking like death warmed over. She'd gotten maybe 2 hours of sleep, her mind replaying the nightmare on an endless loop. Part of her had convinced herself it was all a wine-induced hallucination. Then she'd found Lim Jae-sung's business card on her desk. Very real, very terrifying. "Girl, you look like hell," her best friend Jasmine said, sliding into the seat next to her. Jasmine was everything Rain wasn't. Tiny, put together, always perfect. "Did you and Marcus finally have that reunion?" Rain choked on her coffee. "What? You texted me last night, said you were going to seduce him." Jasmine grinned. "So? How'd it go?" Rain's mind raced. She couldn't tell Jasmine the truth. Couldn't drag her best friend into whatever nightmare she'd stumbled into. "He canceled," Rain said, which was technically true. "Work emergency." Jasmine's smile faded into sympathy. "Again? Rain, I love you, but Marcus is the worst boyfriend. He's always canceling, always busy." "When's the last time he actually made you a priority?" Rain thought about it. Really thought about it. "I don't remember." "Exactly." Jasmine leaned closer, lowering her voice. "I know you love him, but maybe it's time to—" She stopped mid-sentence, her eyes going wide. Rain followed her gaze. Standing in the doorway of the lecture hall, completely out of place among the sleepy college students, was Lim Jae-sung. He was dressed more casually today. Black jeans, black sweater, leather jacket. But he still radiated danger and power, and every head in the room turned to stare at him. His dark eyes scanned the room until they found Rain, and locked on. "Oh my God," Jasmine breathed. "Who is that? He's gorgeous. He looks like he stepped out of a drama. Why is he looking at you? Rain, why is the hot, mysterious man looking directly at you?" Rain couldn't breathe, couldn't think, could only watch as Lim Jae-sung walked down the aisle, confident, unhurried, until he stopped, right at her row. "We need to talk," he said, his voice low. The entire lecture hall was staring now. Whispers started immediately. "I'm in class," Rain hissed, very aware of about 100 eyes on them. "Now," Lim Jae-sung said, and there was no arguing with that tone. Rain grabbed her bag, shot Jasmine an apologetic look, and followed him out of the lecture hall on shaking legs. He led her to a quiet corner of the campus courtyard, far from prying eyes. Then he turned to face her, and Rain noticed the tension in his jaw, the barely controlled anger in his eyes. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Marcus Chen doesn't exist," Lim Jae-sung said flatly. Rain's world tilted. "What?" "My people ran him through every database we have access to, and we have access to quite a few. There's no Marcus Chen matching the description you gave. No finance student at this university. No internship at any investment firm in Seoul." His dark eyes bored into hers. "Your boyfriend is a ghost?" "That's impossible," Rain whispered. "I've been dating him for 8 months. I've met him. I've—" "Met an identity," Lim Jae-sung interrupted. "A carefully constructed fake identity designed to get close to you." "Why?" Rain's voice broke. "Why would anyone do that? I'm nobody. I'm just a college student. I don't have money or connections or—" "That," he said quietly, stepping closer, "is what we need to figure out. Because someone went through a lot of trouble to plant a fake boyfriend in your life and connect you to me. Which means you're either the target or the weapon." Rain's legs felt weak. She stumbled backward, and Lim Jae-sung's hand shot out, gripping her elbow to steady her. The touch sent electricity through her entire body. His eyes darkened, and she knew he felt it too. That impossible spark that made no sense, that terrified her more than his threats. "I need you to think," he said, his voice softer now, but no less intense. "Has Marcus ever asked you about your family, your friends, your daily routine? Has he ever seemed interested in places you go, people you know?" Rain's mind raced backward through 8 months of relationship. Marcus asking about her schedule. Marcus wanting to know her professors' names. Marcus interested in her father's work. Her father who worked in government intelligence. Oh, God. My dad, she whispered. Marcus always asked about my dad, about his work. I thought he was just being interested in my family, but what does your father do? Lim Jae-sung's grip on her elbow tightened. He works for the National Intelligence Service, Rain said. Counter-terrorism division. But I don't know details. He never talks about work. Something clicked in Lim Jae-sung's expression. Your father hunts people like me. No. I mean, yes, but you think Marcus was using me to get to my dad? Rain felt sick. You think he never actually cared about me? That it was all fake? The pain in her voice must have shown on her face because Lim Jae-sung's expression softened. Just slightly, just enough to be devastating. I think, he said carefully, that someone very smart created a very elaborate plan, and you were caught in the middle. Rain pulled away from his touch, wrapping her arms around herself. 8 months. 8 months of my life. I thought he loved me. Her voice broke. Lim Jae-sung watched her for a moment, something unreadable in his dark eyes. Then he did something completely unexpected. He pulled off his leather jacket and draped it around her shoulders. You're shaking, he said simply. The jacket was warm, smelled like his cologne, and was completely inappropriate to accept from a Mafia boss. But Rain pulled it tighter around herself anyway, because she was falling apart and needed something to hold on to. What do I do? She whispered. You go to class, Lim Jae-sung said. You act normal. You don't tell anyone about this. Not your friends, not your father, no one. If Marcus contacts you, you respond normally. You give him nothing to suspect, you know. And then what? And then you let me handle it, he said. I'm going to find out who Marcus really is, what his plan was, and why he connected you to me. Why are you helping me? Rain looked up at him. You're a criminal. I'm the daughter of someone who wants to arrest people like you. This doesn't make sense. Lim Jae-sung smiled, that same dangerous smile from last night. Because whether this was planned or not, those texts made you mine in my world, and I protect what's mine, always. Stop saying that, Rain said, but her voice lacked conviction. Stop pretending you don't feel it, he countered. Whatever this is between us, you feel it too. He was right. God help her. He was right. From the moment he'd walked into her room, something had shifted. Something impossible and terrifying and completely insane had awakened inside her. I have a boyfriend, she said weakly. You have a liar using you for an agenda, Lim Jae-sung corrected. There's a difference. Before Rain could respond, her phone buzzed. Marcus. Hey, baby. Free for lunch today. I miss you. Rain stared at the message, and for the first time, she noticed things she'd ignored before. The generic tone, the lack of real affection, the timing that always seemed just a little too convenient. What do I say? She asked. Lim Jae-sung leaned over to read the message, close enough that she could feel the heat of his body, smell his cologne, feel her heart race in ways that had nothing to do with fear. Say yes, he said. Have lunch with him. Act normal, and I'll be watching. You're going to follow me on my date? Rain asked incredulously. I'm going to protect you, he corrected. There's a difference. He stepped back, and Rain immediately missed his proximity, which was absolutely ridiculous. Keep the jacket, he said. You look good in my clothes. Then he walked away, leaving Rain standing in the courtyard, wearing a Mafia boss's leather jacket and wondering how her life had become a K-drama in the span of 12 hours. She looked down at Marcus's text and typed back, "Lunch sounds perfect. Can't wait to see you." But as she hit send, she wondered if she'd ever actually known the man she was texting at all. That afternoon at the campus cafe, Marcus looked exactly as he always did. Neat, professional, slightly boring. He smiled when Rain slid into the booth across from him, but she noticed now what she'd missed before. The smile didn't reach his eyes. "You look tired," he said, reaching across to take her hand. "Rough night?" You have no idea, Rain thought, but she smiled. "Just couldn't sleep, stressed about finals." "You'll do great," Marcus said automatically. "You always do." Generic, safe, exactly what a fake boyfriend would say. Rain's heart broke a little, not for losing Marcus, but for realizing she'd never really had him at all. "How's the internship?" she asked, testing him. "Busy," Marcus said. "We're closing a big deal this week. I might have to cancel our date on Friday." Of course he would. They ordered food, made small talk. And the whole time, Rain felt eyes on her. She scanned the cafe casually and found him. Lim Jae-sung sat 3 tables away, laptop open like he was working, coffee untouched. But his dark eyes tracked every movement Marcus made, every word he said, every time he touched Rain's hand. And the jealousy in those eyes was absolutely unmistakable. Something warm curled in Rain's stomach, something dangerous that she absolutely should not be feeling while on a date with her boyfriend. "Rain?" Marcus's voice pulled her attention back. "You seem distracted." "Sorry," she said quickly. "Just tired." Marcus squeezed her hand. "Maybe we should call it early. You should get some rest." Relief flooded her. "Yeah, maybe." They stood, and Marcus walked her out of the cafe. On the sidewalk, he pulled her in for a kiss. Perfunctory, brief, nothing like the passion she'd been expecting when she sent those texts last night. "I'll call you later," Marcus said. Then he was gone, walking toward the subway without looking back. Rain stood there for a moment, processing everything she now knew. 8 months. 8 months of a relationship that had never been real. He didn't deserve you anyway. She turned to find Lim Jae-sung standing behind her, hands in his pockets, eyes dark. "Were you jealous?" Rain asked before she could stop herself. "Absolutely," he said without hesitation. "Watching him touch you, kiss you, knowing he's using you." His jaw clenched. It took considerable control not to break every bone in his hand. Rain's breath caught. "You don't even know me." "I know enough," Lim Jae-sung said, stepping closer. "I know you're smart and brave and beautiful. I know you deserve better than a liar. I know that something happened between us last night. Something neither of us can explain." "This is crazy," Rain whispered. "Yes," he agreed. "But that doesn't make it less real." They stood there on the busy campus sidewalk, the world moving around them, and Rain felt like she was standing on the edge of a cliff. Jump, and everything changes. Stay, and live with the lie. "I need to go to class," she said finally. Lim Jae-sung nodded slowly. "I'll be around, watching, protecting." "Like a stalker?" Rain tried to joke. His smile was sharp. "Like someone who's claimed you, whether you accept it yet or not." Then he walked away, leaving Rain with a racing heart and the terrible, wonderful realization that she wanted him to be right. Over the next 3 days, Lim Jae-sung appeared everywhere. At the library where Rain studied, at the cafe where she grabbed coffee, walking past her dorm building. Always at a distance, always watching, always there. It should have terrified her, Instead, it made her feel safe. Jasmine noticed, of course. "Okay, spill," her best friend demanded on Thursday night, cornering Rain in their usual study spot. "Who is the hot, mysterious man who's been following you around campus like a sexy bodyguard? And honestly, my loves, everyone is seeing him. Comment below and tell us, would you let a dangerous stranger follow you around campus? And where in the world are you watching this from? Hit subscribe if you need to know what happens next, because trust me, you are not ready for this twist. Now, back to the story, my loves. He's not..." Rain started. "Don't lie to me," Jasmine interrupted. "I've seen him. Everyone's seen him. He's gorgeous. He's dangerous looking. And he watches you like you're the only person in the world. So who is he?" Rain opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "It's complicated," she finally said. "Is he why Marcus has been texting you nonstop?" Jasmine asked. "Because your phone has been blowing up for 3 days and you've been ignoring him." It was true. Marcus had been messaging constantly, asking to meet, saying he missed her, acting like the perfect boyfriend. All of it fake, all of it manipulation. "Marcus and I are..." Rain struggled to find words. "I think we're over." Jasmine's eyes went wide. "What? Why? What happened?" I realized he's not who I thought he was," Rain said carefully, "and I deserve better." "Hell yes you do." Jasmine grabbed her hands. "And does better involve the sexy stalker man?" Before Rain could answer, her phone buzzed. But it wasn't Marcus. It was Lim Jae-sung. "Outside. Now. We have a problem." Rain's blood went cold. "I have to go." "Rain, I'll explain later." She grabbed her bag and ran. Rain burst through the library doors to find Lim Jae-sung waiting by a sleek black car, his expression carved from stone. 2 other men stood nearby, clearly his security, scanning the area with professional precision. "What's wrong?" Rain asked breathlessly. "Get in the car," Lim Jae-sung said, opening the back door. "I'm not getting in your car. Tell me what's..." "Rain." The way he said her name, sharp, urgent, laced with something that sounded like fear, made her stop arguing. "Please, trust me, just this once." She looked into his dark eyes and saw genuine concern. Not manipulation, not a game. Trust. Against every instinct that screamed this was insane, Rain got in the car. Lim Jae-sung slid in beside her, and the car was moving before her door even closed. The 2 security men got into a second vehicle that followed close behind. "You're scaring me," Rain said, her heart hammering. "What happened?" Lim Jae-sung pulled out his phone and showed her a photo. It was grainy, clearly from a security camera, but the image was unmistakable. Marcus meeting with 3 men in an underground parking garage. One of the men was handing him a thick envelope. "When was this taken?" Rain whispered. 2 hours ago, Lim Jae-sung said. "Do you recognize any of the other men?" Rain studied the photo. 2 of the men were strangers, but the third, her blood ran cold. "That's my father's partner," she breathed. "Agent Kim. He works with my dad at the NIS." Lim Jae-sung's jaw tightened. "Are you certain?" "Yes. He's been to our house for dinner. I've known him since I was a kid." Rain looked up at Lim Jae-sung, pieces clicking into place. "Oh my God, this isn't just about me. This is about my father." "It's bigger than that," Lim Jae-sung said quietly. "We traced Marcus's financial records, the real ones, not the fake identity. The money trail leads to a black ops division within the NIS, unsanctioned, off the books. Your father's partner is running it." Rain felt sick. "What does this have to do with you?" "My organization has been moving into legitimate businesses," Lim Jae-sung explained, his dark eyes never leaving hers. Cleaning up our operations, going legal. Certain people in the government don't want that. They profit from keeping us in the shadows, using us as justification for their budgets and their power. So they are trying to sabotage you, Rain said slowly, by connecting you to me, the daughter of an NIS agent, creating a scandal, or worse, Lim Jae-sung said, creating a situation where they can eliminate me and make it look justified. A dangerous mafia boss seducing an innocent girl, kidnapping her maybe, hurting her. His voice hardened. Your father would have every right to come after me. Every resource of the NIS would be pointed at my organization. And Agent Kim would be the hero who saved me, Rain finished, the full picture emerging. He'd get promotions, funding, power, while you'd be destroyed. Exactly. But how does Marcus fit in? Why date me for 8 months? That's so much effort for... Rain stopped. Unless they needed time. Time to build a believable relationship. Time to make it seem real when they made their move. Lim Jae-sung nodded slowly. You're smarter than they gave you credit for. What move? Rain asked. What are they planning? I don't know yet, Lim Jae-sung admitted. But these texts you sent, that wasn't an accident. Marcus switched the number deliberately. He wanted me to show up at your dorm. Wanted my people to see those messages and think you're mine. The question is, what's the end game? The car pulled up to a luxury high-rise building in Gangnam. Rain recognized it immediately. This is Marcus's building, she said. He lives here. Not anymore, Lim Jae-sung said. The apartment was abandoned 3 days ago, right after I started investigating him. But I want you to see something. They took the elevator to the 15th floor, Lim Jae-sung's security flanking them. The apartment door was already open, and inside, Rain's breath caught. The entire apartment was filled with surveillance equipment. Monitors lined one wall, showing feeds from cameras positioned all around campus, including... Oh my God, Rain whispered, stepping closer to one screen. That's my dorm room. He's been watching you, Lim Jae-sung said quietly. For months. Rain felt violated, exposed. She scanned the other monitors and saw feeds of the library, the cafe where she studied, the gym, her classrooms, every place she went regularly. There's more, one of Lim Jae-sung's men said, gesturing to a desk. On it sat files, thick dossiers with photos, documents, detailed notes. Rain picked up the top one and saw her own face staring back at her. Every detail of her life was documented. Her class schedule, her friends' names, her relationship with her father, her habits, her routines, everything. This is insane, Rain breathed, flipping through pages. This level of surveillance, this isn't just about setting up a scandal. This is obsession. Keep reading, Lim Jae-sung said, his voice tight. Rain turned the page and froze. There were photos of her and Lim Jae-sung from the past 3 days, walking across campus, at the cafe, outside the library, every interaction they'd had since that first night, documented and time-stamped. And beneath the photos, handwritten notes. Target has made contact with asset as predicted. Emotional attachment forming faster than anticipated. Proceed to phase 2. Asset, Rain whispered. He's calling me an asset. He's calling you bait, Lim Jae-sung corrected, his jaw clenched so tight it looked painful. They knew you'd intrigue me. Young, beautiful, genuinely innocent, everything I don't see in my world. They counted on me wanting to protect you. Rain looked up at him. Did it work? His dark eyes met hers, and the intensity there stole her breath. What do you think? The air between them crackled with tension. Rain's heart raced, but not from fear this time. What's phase 2? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Lim Jae-sung reached past her and pulled out another file. This one made him go absolutely still. Rain looked at the contents and felt the world tilt. Photographs, dozens of them, of Lim Jae-sung's family, his mother in a hospital, his younger sister at university, his legitimate business partners, all of them circled in red, labeled as leverage points. They're threatening everyone I care about, Lim Jae-sung said quietly, a dangerous edge to his voice. Using you to get close enough to identify my weaknesses. And then, he stopped, his jaw working. And then? Rain prompted. And then they'll take you, he said. Make it look like I kidnapped you. Your father will have no choice but to come after me with everything he has. And, in the chaos, Agent Kim's Black Ops team will eliminate my family, my people, everyone who knows the truth. They'll call it justice. Rain felt cold. We have to warn my father. He doesn't know what Agent Kim is doing. He'd never. Are you certain about that? Lim Jae-sung asked gently. Rain wanted to say yes, wanted to defend her father. But doubt crept in. Her father had been distant lately too, distracted, working late. What if he knew? What if he was part of this? I don't know, she admitted, hating the words. I don't know anything anymore. Lim Jae-sung's hand came up to cup her face. Gentle, careful, like she might break. You know this. I won't let them hurt you. Whatever their plan is, whatever they're trying to do, I'll stop it, even if I have to burn down the entire NIS to keep you safe. Rain's breath hitched. Why? Why do you care so much? You barely know me. Don't I? His thumb brushed across her cheekbone. I know you drink cheap wine and make terrible decisions. I know you're loyal enough to defend a boyfriend who never deserved you. I know you're brave enough to face a mafia boss with nothing but a wine bottle. I know that when you're scared, you talk to yourself, and when you're thinking hard, you bite your bottom lip. He demonstrated by brushing his thumb across her lip, and Rain's entire body ignited. I know, he continued, his voice dropping lower, that something happened between us that first night, something neither of us can explain. And I know that every moment I spend with you, I want you more. Not because of some plan or manipulation, but because you're real in a world full of liars, and that's worth protecting. Rain's eyes burned. Jae-sung, don't, he said softly. Don't tell me this is crazy or impossible or wrong. Just tell me you feel it too. I feel it, Rain whispered. God help me, I feel it. But this is all happening so fast. 4 days ago, I thought I had a normal life and a normal boyfriend, and now you know the truth, Jae-sung finished. Your normal life was a lie. Your boyfriend was using you. But this, he gestured between them, this is real. Messy and complicated and dangerous, but real. He was right. Everything with Marcus had felt performative, like she was playing a role. But with Jae-sung, even in the midst of danger and chaos, she felt more herself than she'd ever been. What do we do now? She asked. Now, Jae-sung said, his hand still cradling her face. We set a trap of our own. 2 days later, Rain walked across campus with Jasmine, laughing at something her best friend said, acting perfectly normal. But her nerves were screaming. Today was the day. Jae-sung's plan was simple. Let Marcus make his move, but be ready for it. Lure him out by giving him exactly what he wanted. Rain isolated, vulnerable, seemingly alone. You seem better, Jasmine observed, linking their arms. More like yourself. Did you finally dump Marcus's boring ass? Rain forced a smile. Not yet, but soon. Good, because I've been thinking, maybe you should give Mystery Man a chance. The one who's been watching you. Rain nearly tripped. What? Oh, come on, Jasmine laughed. Don't pretend you haven't noticed him. Tall, gorgeous, looks at you like you hung the moon? I saw you two talking outside the library the other night. Who is he? It's complicated, Rain said for the 1,000th time. Everything interesting is complicated, Jasmine said. Just promise me you'll be careful. He seems intense. I promise, Rain said, and meant it. They reached the library, and Jasmine headed to her afternoon class, while Rain went to their usual study spot on the 3rd floor. She set up her laptop, pulled out her textbooks, and pretended to study. But really she was waiting. 30 minutes passed. An hour. Rain was starting to think maybe Marcus wouldn't show when her phone buzzed. Marcus. Hey baby, I'm downstairs. Can you come meet me? I have something important to tell you. Rain's heart raced. This was it. She texted back, Can't you come up? Marcus. Rather talk somewhere private. There's a cafe across the street. 10 minutes? Rain stood, gathering her things with shaking hands. She pressed the small button on the bracelet Jae-sung had given her that morning, activating the tracker and alert. Help was coming. She just had to stay safe until it arrived. At the cafe, Marcus sat in a corner booth, looking nervous. More nervous than Rain had ever seen him. When she slid into the seat across from him, his smile was strained. Hey, he said. Thanks for meeting me. You said it was important, Rain replied, studying his face for tells. For truth, for anything real beneath the mask. It is. Marcus took a deep breath. Rain, I need to tell you something. About us? About me? Rain's pulse quickened. Okay. I haven't been honest with you, Marcus said, and for the first time his voice sounded genuine. My name isn't really Marcus Chen, and I'm not a finance student. Then who are you? Rain asked, playing along. My real name is Min Seok, he said, and I work for the National Intelligence Service. I've been undercover. Rain let shock show on her face. What? This whole time? Our entire relationship was— No! Min Seok reached across the table, grabbing her hands. Not the whole time. At first, yes. I was assigned to get close to you because of your father. But Rain, I fell for you. Really fell for you. And now I'm in trouble because I care more about you than the mission. It was a good performance. Rain almost believed him. What mission? She asked. Min Seok glanced around nervously. I shouldn't tell you this. It could put you in danger. But there's a criminal organization, a Mafia group, that's been using your father's investigations to their advantage. My team believes they're going to target you, to get to your father. Target me how? Rain pulled her hands back, genuinely frightened now because this part was probably true. Kidnap you, maybe. Use you as leverage. I don't know the details. Min Seok leaned forward, his expression earnest. That's why I need you to come with me right now. There's a safe house. Protection. I can keep you safe until this is over. Come with you where? Rain asked. Somewhere secure. Please, Rain. You have to trust me. I know I lied about who I am, but everything I feel for you is real. Let me protect you. It was a good trap. Convincing, urgent, designed to play on her emotions and her fear. Too bad Rain knew the truth. Okay, she said, making her voice shake slightly. I trust you. Relief flooded Min Seok's face. Thank God, come on, my car's outside. They stood, and Rain followed him toward the exit. Her hand went to the bracelet again, pressing twice this time, the signal for immediate danger. Please be close, she thought desperately. Please be watching." They stepped outside into the late afternoon sun, and Min Seok's hand gripped her elbow, steering her toward a black sedan parked at the curb. The back door opened, and Agent Kim stepped out. "Hello, Rain," he said, smiling like a kindly uncle. "I'm so glad Min Seok convinced you to cooperate. This will be much easier if you come quietly." Rain's blood ran cold, but she still forced herself to play along. "Agent Kim, what's going on? Where's my father?" "Your father is exactly where he needs to be," Agent Kim said, "unaware and innocent. Which is how we'll keep him, as long as you do exactly what we say." "Which is?" Rain asked, stalling for time. "Get in the car," Agent Kim said, his smile never wavering. "We are going to take some photographs. Video, maybe. You and a certain Mafia boss in compromising positions. Evidence of kidnapping. Abuse. Whatever we need to justify eliminating him and his entire organization." "You want to frame him," Rain said. "Using me." "Smart girl," Agent Kim said. "Now get in the car, or Min Seok will put you in it. Your choice." Min Seok's grip on her elbow tightened, no longer gentle, no longer fake boyfriend concerned, just professional and cold. Rain looked at him. This man she'd thought she loved, who'd spent 8 months pretending to care, and felt nothing but contempt. "You were never conflicted," she said quietly. "You never cared about me at all." Something flickered in Min Seok's eyes. "It's not personal. It's the job." "Everything is personal," Rain said, and then the world exploded into chaos. 3 black SUVs came screaming around the corner, tires screeching. They blocked the street in both directions, and armed men poured out, Jae-sung's security, moving with military precision. Agent Kim cursed and reached for his weapon. He never got it. Jae-sung appeared from nowhere, moving so fast he was a blur. One moment Agent Kim was drawing his gun, the next he was on the ground, Jae-sung's knee on his chest, the agent's own weapon pressed against his temple. "Touch her again," Jae-sung said, his voice absolutely lethal, "and I'll decorate this street with your insides." Min Seok tried to pull Rain toward the car, but she stomped on his foot, just like Jae-sung had taught her during their brief self-defense session yesterday, and drove her elbow into his stomach. He released her with a gasp, and Rain ran, straight into Jae-sung's arms. He pulled her behind him with one hand while keeping his gun trained on Agent Kim with the other. His security surrounded them, weapons drawn, professional and terrifying. "You have no authority here," Agent Kim spat from the ground. "I'm NIS. This is a sanctioned operation." "Funny," Jae-sung said, "because I just sent every piece of evidence from Min Seok's surveillance apartment to the NIS director, the Ministry of Justice, and 3 major news outlets, including the part where you discuss eliminating my family and framing me for kidnapping an innocent girl." Agent Kim's face went gray. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Jae-sung smiled, cold and dangerous. "Check your phone. I believe your director is calling right about now." Sure enough, Agent Kim's phone started ringing. He didn't answer it. "It's over," Jae-sung said. "Your Black Ops program, your plans, your career, all of it. Over." "You think you've won?" Agent Kim laughed bitterly. "You're still a criminal? Still a monster? You really think she's going to choose you? Her father hunts people like you." "Then he can try," Jae-sung said simply. "But first, he's going to deal with the fact that his partner tried to use his daughter as bait. I wonder how he'll feel about that." As if on cue, more cars arrived. Official government vehicles, and from one of them stepped Rain's father. "Dad," Rain started forward, but Jae-sung's hand on her arm stopped her. "Wait," he said quietly. Rain watched as her father took in the scene, Agent Kim on the ground, Min Seok in custody, his daughter standing with Seoul's most notorious mafia boss. Rain, her father said, his voice shaking. Are you hurt? No, she said. But no thanks to your partner? Her father's face hardened. He looked at Agent Kim. Is it true? Did you use my daughter? It was for the greater good, Agent Kim said. To take down a criminal organization, you should be thanking me. Thanking you? Rain's father's voice rose. You put my daughter in danger. You violated every oath we took. You... Enough, Jae-sung interrupted. Your people can sort out your internal corruption. I have what I need. He looked at Rain's father. Your daughter is safe. She'll stay safe. You have my word. The word of a criminal, Rain's father said bitterly. The word of a man who protected your daughter when your own people tried to use her as a weapon, Jae-sung countered. We can debate morality later. Right now, you need to clean up your house. Rain's father looked at her for a long moment. Come home, Rain. You're safe now. This is over. No, Rain said quietly. Everyone went still. What? Her father asked. I said no, Rain repeated, stepping closer to Jae-sung. I'm not going home. Not yet. Not until I understand what happened. What you knew. Whether you were part of this. Pain flashed across her father's face. Rain, I swear I knew nothing about this. I would never... I want to believe you, Rain said, tears burning her eyes. But Agent Kim was your partner for 10 years. How did you not know what he was doing? Her father had no answer. I need time, Rain said. Time to think, time to process, and I need you to let me have that, please. After a long moment, her father nodded. Okay, but Rain, be careful. Him, he gestured to Jae-sung. I don't trust him. You don't have to, Rain said. I do. It wasn't entirely true. Not yet. But she was getting there. A week passed after the spectacular fallout. Agent Kim and Min Seok were arrested. The Black Ops program was dismantled. 6 other agents were implicated. The scandal rocked the NIS to its foundation, and Rain's father had to face the fact that he'd been blind to corruption happening right under his nose. Rain stayed with Jasmine during the chaos, ignoring the media frenzy, the investigators who wanted statements, the chaos swirling around her. But she couldn't ignore Jae-sung. He appeared outside her dorm every morning with coffee. Expensive, perfect. Exactly how she liked it, even though she'd never told him. He walked her to class from a respectful distance, sent his security to watch her building at night, protected her without crowding her, gave her the space she needed while making it clear he wasn't going anywhere. You need to talk to him, Jasmine said on the 7th night, sprawled across Rain's bed. Mystery Man has been pining outside like a sad puppy for a week. It's actually kind of romantic. He's not pining, Rain argued. He's protecting. He's doing both, Jasmine countered. And you're an idiot if you can't see how much he cares about you. It's complicated, Rain said again. So uncomplicated. Jasmine threw a pillow at her. Go talk to him. Figure out if this thing between you is real. Rain caught the pillow. What if it's not? What if it's just adrenaline and danger, and what if it is real and you're too scared to find out? Jasmine interrupted. Rain, I've known you for 3 years. I've never seen you look at anyone the way you look at him. Not even Marcus, and we thought you loved him. I thought I did too, Rain admitted. But you didn't, Jasmine said gently. You were in love with the idea of having a boyfriend, of being normal. But that man out there, he sees the real you, the messy, complicated, scared, brave real you. And he's still here? Rain looked at her best friend, this person who knew her better than anyone. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise, Jasmine grinned. You just finally started listening. Now go, talk to him, and if he breaks your heart, I have a cricket bat with his name on it. Rain laughed, but her heart was hammering as she grabbed her jacket and headed downstairs. Jae-sung was exactly where she expected, leaning against his car across the street, scrolling through his phone, looking unfairly gorgeous in the streetlight. He glanced up when she approached, and something shifted in his expression. Hope, maybe, or fear. Hi, Rain said. Hi, Jae-sung replied. They stood there awkwardly for a moment, this powerful mafia boss and this college girl who'd accidentally sexted him into her life. Thank you, Rain said finally, for the coffee every morning, for the protection, for giving me space. You needed it, Jae-sung said simply. I did, Rain agreed. I needed to think, to process, to figure out what's real and what's just reaction to trauma. Jae-sung's jaw tightened. And what did you decide? Rain took a breath. I decided that you terrify me. Not because you're dangerous, though you are, but because what I feel for you is so intense and so fast that it can't be real. Except it feels real, more real than anything I felt in 8 months with Marcus. Rain, let me finish, she said. I decided that I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to date a mafia boss. I don't know how to explain you to my father or my friends or anyone in my normal life. I don't know if this thing between us will last a week or a month or forever. She stepped closer. But I decided that I want to find out, she whispered. If you're willing to be patient with me while I figure it out. Jae-sung's eyes darkened with emotion. I've been patient for a week. I can be patient for however long you need. Even if it's complicated and messy and... Especially then, Jae-sung interrupted. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and cupped her face in his hands. Rain, I have spent my entire adult life in a world where everyone wears masks, where every relationship is transactional, where trust gets you killed. His thumbs brushed across her cheekbones. And then you stumbled into my life at 3 a.m. with your terrible wine decisions and your mortifying texts and your complete inability to lie, he continued, a small smile playing at his lips. You're real. You're honest even when it hurts. You're brave enough to face your fear and smart enough to question everything, including me. And I... He stopped, something vulnerable flashing across his face. You what? Rain prompted softly. I'm falling for you, Jae-sung admitted. Have been since the moment you threatened me with a wine bottle while naked and terrified and absolutely magnificent. And I know it's fast and I know it's crazy and I know you need time. So I'll wait. I'll give you all the space you need, but I need you to know, when you're ready, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Rain's eyes burned with tears. What if my father never accepts this? What if... Then we'll figure it out, Jae-sung said firmly. Together. I'm not asking you to choose between me and your family. I'm asking you to let me stand beside you while we navigate this mess. Can you do that? Could she? It was terrifying, impossible, completely insane. But looking into his dark eyes, feeling his hands gentle on her face, remembering how he'd protected her and respected her and given her space when she needed it. Yes, Rain whispered, I can do that. Jae-sung's smile was devastating. Then let's start with something simple. Have dinner with me tomorrow, a real date. No danger, no schemes, just you and me, getting to know each other. Okay, Rain agreed, her own smile breaking through. But nowhere fancy. I'm a broke college student. I'm taking you somewhere fancy, Jae-sung said, and I'm paying, don't argue. I'm arguing, Rain said. I can pay for—" He kissed her, not demanding or forceful, but gentle and perfect, and absolutely stealing every thought from her head. His lips were soft against hers, his hands cradling her face like she was precious, and Rain's entire world narrowed to this moment, this man, this impossible perfect kiss. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Jae-sung rested his forehead against hers. "Still want to argue?" he murmured. "What were we arguing about?" Rain asked dazedly. His laugh was low and warm. "Exactly." They stood there for a moment longer, just breathing together, and Rain felt something settle in her chest, something that felt like coming home. "I should go back inside," she said reluctantly. "Jasmine will think you murdered me." "Your friend is terrifying," Jae-sung said seriously. "She threatened me with a cricket bat yesterday." Rain laughed, but didn't say anything. "She cornered me in the parking lot and explained in graphic detail what she would do to various parts of my anatomy if I hurt you," Jae-sung said. "I respect her immensely." "She's the best," Rain agreed. "Even if she is slightly violent." "I'll pick you up tomorrow at 7, Jae-sung said, stepping back reluctantly. "Wear something nice." "Bossy," Rain accused. "You like it," he countered, his eyes gleaming. He was right, damn him. Rain was halfway back to her dorm when she realized she was smiling like an idiot, and she didn't care. For the first time in a week, the future felt bright instead of terrifying. She should have known it wouldn't last. The next day, at 6:45 p.m., Rain stood in front of her mirror, second-guessing her outfit choice for the 10th time. The black dress was simple but elegant, hitting just above her knees, showing off her curves without being too obvious. She'd tamed her curls into soft waves and applied minimal makeup. "You look amazing," Jasmine said from her bed, where she was supposed to be studying but was instead watching Rain's nervous breakdown with amusement. "Stop fidgeting." "What if this is a mistake?" Rain asked. "What if you say it's complicated one more time, I'm going to scream," Jasmine interrupted. "Just go have dinner with the gorgeous man who literally fought government agents to protect you. What's the worst that could happen?" Famous last words. Rain's phone buzzed. "Jae-sung, I'm downstairs. Take your time. You're worth waiting for." Her heart did a stupid flutter. "He's here," Rain announced. "Then go." Jasmine shoved her toward the door. "And text me details. I want to know everything." "Well, not everything, but I got it." Rain laughed, grabbing her purse. She headed downstairs, nerves and excitement warring in her stomach. This was real. She was really doing this. Dating a mafia boss. Her father would die. The thought should have scared her more than it did. Jae-sung was waiting by his car, a different one this time, sleek and silver instead of black. He wore a dark suit that probably cost more than her tuition, and when he saw her, his expression went soft in a way that made her knees weak. "You're beautiful," he said simply. "You're not so bad yourself," Rain replied, trying to calm her racing heart. He opened the car door for her, ever the gentleman, and they drove through Seoul as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. "Where are we going?" Rain asked. "Somewhere private," Jae-sung said, "where we can talk without interruption." 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a restaurant Rain had only read about in magazines, the kind of place where reservations took months, and the waitlist included celebrities and politicians. "Jae-sung, this is too much," Rain protested as a valet opened her door. "Nothing is too much for you," he said, offering his arm. "Now stop arguing and let me spoil you." Rain bit her lip but took his arm, and they walked inside. The restaurant was stunning. Intimate lighting, soft music, an ambiance of quiet luxury. They were led to a private room overlooking the city, and Rain's breath caught at the view. "This is incredible," she whispered. "You're incredible," Jae-sung countered, pulling out her chair. "This is just a room." They ordered food, or rather, Jae-sung ordered a tasting menu that sounded both expensive and impossible to pronounce, and for a moment they just sat there, looking at each other. "I'm nervous," Rain admitted, "which is ridiculous because we've already survived assassination plots together. Dinner should be easy." "Assassination plots have clear rules," Jae-sung said, his lips quirking. "Dating is much more dangerous." Rain laughed, and some of the tension eased. They talked, really talked, about everything. Rain's childhood, her dreams of working in international development, her complicated relationship with her father. Jae-sung's past, growing up in poverty, joining the Mafia to survive, working his way to the top through intelligence and ruthlessness. "Do you regret it?" Rain asked. "The choices you made?" "Some of them," Jae-sung said honestly. "I've done things I'm not proud of. Hurt people who probably didn't deserve it. But I've also protected people who had nowhere else to turn. Provided for communities the government forgot. It's not black and white." "My father would say you're a criminal," Rain said quietly. "Your father would be right," Jae-sung agreed. "I am a criminal, but I'm trying to be better. The legitimate businesses, the clean operations, that's real. I want to build something that doesn't require violence to maintain." "Why?" Rain asked. He looked at her for a long moment. "Because I met a girl who makes me want to be someone worth her time." Rain's breath caught. "Jae-sung, I mean it," he said. "You walked into my life and made me question everything. Made me want to be better, not because you asked me to, but because you deserve someone better." "I don't want someone better," Rain said. "I want you. Complicated and dangerous and trying to change. I want all of it." The look in his eyes nearly undid her. They finished dinner, talking about lighter things now. Her embarrassing moments in class, his disastrous attempts at cooking. The normal things that made them feel like a normal couple instead of a college student and a mafia boss. It was perfect. Too perfect. Rain should have known. As they left the restaurant, B dropped her off, and she almost forgot her own name from the kiss that he gave her before driving off. And she was so taken by it, by him, that she didn't notice the second car that pulled up. She didn't notice the figure approaching until it was too late. "Hello, Rain." She turned and froze. Jasmine stood there, but she looked different, colder, harder, and she was holding a gun. "Jazz?" Rain's voice came out confused. "What are you—" "I'm sorry," Jasmine said, and she actually sounded like she meant it. "I really am. I liked you. This would be easier if I didn't." Rain's mind raced, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. "I don't understand." "I know," Jasmine said. "That was the point. You weren't supposed to understand until it was too late. But Jae-sung's people are too good. They're getting close to the truth, so we're moving up the timeline." "We?" Rain whispered. Another figure stepped out of the car. Min Seok. But he looked different too. Confident, dangerous, nothing like the fake boyfriend she'd known. "Surprise," he said, smiling coldly. "You were arrested," Rain said, her voice shaking. "You're supposed to be in custody." "I was released," Min Seok said, "thanks to lack of evidence and a very good lawyer. Turns out all those recordings Jae-sung sent? Inadmissible. Obtained illegally. The case fell apart. But the scandal is dying down," Min Seok interrupted. Agent Kim took the fall, retired quietly, and now we're free to finish what we started. Rain looked at Jasmine, her best friend of 3 years, the person she trusted most, and felt her heart break. How long? From the beginning, Jasmine admitted. I was assigned to befriend you freshman year. Get close. Report on your movements, your relationships, your vulnerabilities. When Min Seok needed a girlfriend to complete his cover, I was already in position to facilitate. 3 years, Rain breathed. 3 years of lies. Not all of it was lies, Jasmine said, and there was genuine pain in her voice. I really did become your friend, really did care about you, but the mission comes first. What mission? Rain demanded. What could possibly be worth this? Taking down Lim Jae-sung, Min Seok said, destroying his organization and using you as the perfect weapon to do it. See, Agent Kim's plan was good, but limited. We're thinking bigger. He pulled out his phone and showed Rain a photo that made her blood run cold. It was her father, unconscious, tied to a chair. Dad! Rain lunged forward, but Jasmine grabbed her arm. He's alive, Min Seok said. For now. Whether he stays that way depends on you. What do you want? Rain asked, tears streaming down her face. Simple, Min Seok said. You're going to call Jae-sung. Tell him you're in danger. Lead him to us. And then we're going to kill him while your father watches, so he sees exactly what kind of monster his daughter chose over family. No, Rain said. I won't do it. Then your father dies, Min Seok said simply. And we kill Jae-sung anyway. Only this way we make it look like you helped us. Destroy your life along with his. Your choice. Rain looked at Jasmine, really looked at her. Please, you said you cared about me. If that's true, don't do this. Something flickered in Jasmine's eyes. Conflict? Regret. But then it was gone. I'm sorry, Jasmine said again. Make the call. Rain's mind raced. She couldn't call Jae-sung. That would lead him into a trap. But she couldn't let her father die. Unless... Her hand went to the bracelet Jae-sung had given her. The one she'd never taken off. The tracker was still active. She just needed to buy time. Okay, Rain said, making her voice shake. I'll call him. Just, please don't hurt my dad. Min Seok handed her a phone. Not her own, a burner. Use this. Say exactly what I tell you. No tricks. Rain took the phone with trembling hands. She had to trust that Jae-sung was watching, that he'd seen what happened, that help was coming. She just had to stay alive long enough for it to arrive. She dialed the number Min Seok gave her, Jae-sung's direct line. He answered immediately. Rain? What's wrong? Where are you? The panic in his voice nearly broke her. Say it, Min Seok ordered, pressing his gun against her ribs. Jae-sung, Rain said, making her voice terrified, which wasn't hard. I need help. Someone grabbed me. They're taking me to... She paused, and Min Seok whispered an address. The old warehouse district, Rain continued. Please, I'm scared. Come alone or they'll kill me. There was a pause on the other end. Then Jae-sung's voice, cold and deadly. I'm coming. Hold on, sweetheart. Just hold on. The line went dead. Good girl, Min Seok said, taking the phone back. Now let's go. They forced Rain into the car, Jasmine driving, Min Seok beside her with the gun, and drove through the city toward the warehouse district. Rain's mind raced. Jae-sung had to know it was a trap. He was too smart not to. But he'd come anyway, because he was falling for her, and people in love made stupid decisions. She should know. She was about to make one. Why? She asked, looking at Jasmine in the rearview mirror. I know you're following orders, but why? What did Jae-sung do to deserve this? He killed my brother, Min Se-ok said flatly. Rain went still. 3 years ago, Min Se-ok continued, my brother worked for a rival organization. Jae-sung wiped them out, every single member. My brother died in that massacre. So yes, this is personal. And yes, I'm going to enjoy watching him suffer before he dies. And me? Rain whispered. What happens to me? Min Se-ok smiled, cold and cruel. You get to watch the man you love die. Then you get to live with the knowledge that your choices led him to his death. That's a fate worse than dying. You're a monster, Rain said. We're all monsters, Min Se-ok countered. Some of us just hide it better. They pulled into an abandoned warehouse, the kind of place where screams wouldn't be heard and bodies could disappear. Inside, Rain's father was tied to a chair, a gag in his mouth, his eyes wide with fury and fear when he saw her. Dad! Rain tried to run to him, but Jasmine held her back. Not yet, she said softly. Soon. They tied Rain to a chair next to her father, both of them positioned to watch the warehouse entrance. The stage was set. Now they just had to wait for the leading man to arrive. 30 minutes later, the warehouse door exploded inward. Jae-sung stood in the opening, backlit by the security lights outside, looking like an avenging angel carved from darkness. His eyes swept the warehouse, taking in everything. Rain tied to a chair, her father beside her, Min Se-ok holding a gun, Jasmine standing guard. Let her go, Jae-sung said, his voice deadly calm. Not a chance, Min Se-ok replied. Come in, slowly, hands where I can see them. Jae-sung walked forward, hands raised, no weapon visible. Jae-sung, don't, Rain shouted. It's a trap. They're going to kill you. I know, Jae-sung said simply, his eyes never leaving hers. But I couldn't leave you here. How touching, Min Se-ok sneered. The big bad Mafia boss brought low by a college girl. My brother would laugh. Your brother died because he chose the wrong side of a war, Jae-sung said coldly. I gave him a chance to walk away. He refused. Liar. Min Se-ok's composure cracked. You slaughtered them. You showed no mercy. You're right, Jae-sung agreed. I didn't, because mercy in my world is weakness, and weakness gets you killed. Then you should understand what's about to happen, Min Se-ok said, raising his gun. Wait, Jasmine stepped forward. We need him alive. Remember the plan. The plan changed, Min Se-ok said. I want him dead, now. No, Rain screamed. Everything happened at once. Min Se-ok's finger tightened on the trigger. Jae-sung moved, impossibly fast, diving left. The shot rang out, and Jasmine threw herself in front of Jae-sung. The bullet hit her square in the chest. She went down hard, blood blooming across her shirt, and Rain's scream tore through the warehouse. Jazz! Chaos erupted. The warehouse filled with people, Jae-sung's security team, appearing from every shadow, weapons drawn. Min Se-ok tried to run but was tackled within seconds. More men appeared, government agents, including Rain's father's team. But Rain only saw Jasmine. Jae-sung cut through Rain's restraints and she ran to her best friend, collapsing beside her. Why? Rain sobbed, pressing her hands to the wound. Why did you do that? Jasmine coughed, blood on her lips. I don't know, but I do. Told you. Not all of it was lies. You're my friend, my real friend. I just couldn't let you watch him die. I tried to fight it, but I just had to the right thing, even though everything I have done is unforgivable. Maybe I will find peace now when I die. You're not dying, Rain said desperately. You're going to be fine. Medic! Someone call a medic! Already called, Jae-sung said, kneeling beside them. He'd produced a first aid kit from somewhere and was applying pressure to the wound. Stay with us, Jasmine. Help is coming. I'm worried, Jasmine whispered, looking at Rain. For everything, the lies, the betrayal, all of it. You deserved better. You're my best friend, Rain said, tears streaming. You can't leave me, please. Best friends, Jasmine agreed, her eyes fluttering. Even if I'm the worst best friend ever. Paramedics rushed in, pushing Rain aside, working on Jasmine with professional efficiency. They loaded her onto a stretcher, and Rain tried to follow, but Jae-sung caught her. Let them work, he said gently. She's got the best trauma team in Seoul. She's going to make it. You don't know that, Rain sobbed into his chest. No, Jae-sung admitted, but I'm choosing to believe it, and so should you. Rain's father appeared beside them, freed from his restraints, looking shaken but alive. Rain, he said hoarsely, are you hurt? No, Rain managed. Dad, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. If I hadn't... This is not your fault, her father said firmly, pulling her into a hug. None of this is your fault. These people manipulated you, used you. That's on them, not you. He pulled back, looking at Jae-sung with an expression Rain couldn't read. You saved my daughter, her father said. She saved herself, Jae-sung corrected. I just provided backup. Still, Rain's father said, thank you, and I may have been wrong about you. You weren't wrong, Jae-sung said quietly. I am exactly what you think I am, but I'm trying to be better. For her. Rain's father studied him for a long moment, then nodded. We'll talk. Later, when this is over. It wasn't approval, but it was a start. 2 weeks later, at the hospital, Jasmine woke up on the third day. The bullet had collapsed her lung and nicked an artery, but the surgeons had been brilliant, and she was going to make a full recovery, physically at least. The legal situation was more complicated. She'd been an undercover agent, a real one, unlike Min Seok, who'd been working for a rogue faction. But she'd also participated in kidnapping and conspiracy. The government was still deciding what to do with her. Rain visited every day. You shouldn't be here, Jasmine said weakly from her hospital bed. I betrayed you. I helped them use you. You also took a bullet for Jae-sung, Rain countered. That has to count for something. I took it for you, Jasmine corrected. I couldn't let you watch him die. Couldn't let you live with that pain. Even after everything I did, you're still my friend. My real friend. And I... Her voice broke. I'm so sorry. I know, Rain said, taking her hand. And I forgive you. I don't know if I can trust you again. Maybe never. But I forgive you. Jasmine squeezed her hand, tears streaming. That's more than I deserve. Probably, Rain agreed, but I'm not who I was 2 weeks ago. I'm learning that life is messy and complicated and full of impossible choices, and you made one. You chose me over the mission. That means something. What's going to happen to me? Jasmine asked. I don't know, Rain said honestly. My dad's trying to help, arguing that you were following orders, that you ultimately tried to do the right thing, but there will be consequences. I know, Jasmine said. I'm ready. They sat in silence for a moment. So, Jasmine said finally, you and the Mafia boss. How's that going? Rain couldn't help but smile. It's complicated. Everything with you is complicated now, Jasmine said. But you look happy. Are you happy? Getting there, Rain admitted. We're taking it slow. Dating, learning each other. He's patient. He'd be stupid not to be, Jasmine said. You're the best thing that ever happened to him." "I'm just me," Rain protested. "Exactly," Jasmine said. "You're real. In a world full of liars and manipulators, you're genuine. Hold on to that. Don't let this world change you." "I'll try," Rain promised. 6 months, and Jae-sung was still keeping his promise. He was patient, gentle, gave Rain all the time she needed to navigate her new reality. They dated. Real dates, movies, dinners, long walks through Seoul. He introduced her to the legitimate side of his business, showed her the community programs he funded, the lives he'd changed for the better. And slowly, Rain fell completely, irrevocably in love. Rain's father struggled with it, but he couldn't deny that Jae-sung made his daughter happy. And after everything she'd been through, that mattered more than his principles. Jasmine received a reduced sentence, 18 months in a minimum security facility for her cooperation. It wasn't perfect, but it was fair. Min-sok got life in prison. Agent Kim quietly disappeared, rumored to be in witness protection somewhere far from Seoul, and Rain graduated with honors, accepted a job at an NGO working on international development, and moved into Jae-sung's penthouse. They'd been living together for 3 months when everything changed again. "Marry me." Rain looked up from her breakfast, expensive coffee and fresh pastries that Jae-sung had delivered every morning, to find him kneeling beside her chair, with a ring. "What?" she breathed. "Marry me," Jae-sung repeated. "I know it's fast. I know your father will probably have a stroke. I know it's crazy and complicated and—" "Yes," Rain interrupted. Jae-sung stopped mid-speech. "What?" "Yes," Rain said again, laughing through sudden tears. "Yes, I'll marry you. You idiot! Did you really think I'd say no?" "I hoped you wouldn't," Jae-sung admitted, "but—" She kissed him, hard and deep and full of love. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Jae-sung slid the ring onto her finger. It was beautiful, a simple diamond that caught the morning light and sparkled like a promise. "I love you," he said. "I've loved you since you threatened me with a wine bottle in your underwear. I'll love you until my last breath. And I promise to spend every day trying to be worthy of you." "You already are," Rain said, "complicated and dangerous and trying to be better. That's who I fell in love with. Don't change." "Never," Jae-sung promised. They married 6 months later in a small ceremony, just family and close friends. Rain's father walked her down the aisle, and if he cried a little, no one mentioned it. Jasmine was there, on parole for good behavior, standing as Rain's maid of honor despite everything. "You look beautiful," Jasmine whispered as they waited for the ceremony to start. "Thank you," Rain said, "for being here, for being you, for taking that bullet." "Worth it," Jasmine said simply. "You're happy. That's all I ever wanted for you." The ceremony was perfect. The reception was beautiful. And when Jae-sung kissed his bride, Rain felt like her entire chaotic, impossible journey had led to this moment. A year later, Rain stared at the pregnancy test in disbelief. Positive, she was pregnant, with a Mafia boss's baby. Her father really was going to have a stroke, but when she told Jae-sung that night, his reaction made everything worth it. He cried, actually cried, tears streaming down his face as he held her, whispering about how much he loved her, how scared he was, how happy he was, how their child was going to have everything they never did. "We're going to be parents," Rain whispered. "The best parents," Jae-sung promised. "Our child is going to grow up knowing they're loved, knowing they're safe, knowing that their mother is the bravest, most incredible woman in the world. And their father is a reformed Mafia boss who once threatened to kill me 64 different ways," Rain added. I was bluffing about the 64 ways, Jae-sung admitted. I only knew 17 at the time. Rain laughed, and in that moment, surrounded by love and chaos and the beautiful mess of their lives, she knew something with absolute certainty. That accidental text message at 3 a.m. had been the best mistake she'd ever made. 5 years has passed, and in all that time, the only thing that ever changed was the love between them, because it knelt on growing stronger each day. Mama, why does Daddy have so many people with guns following us? Rain looked down at her daughter, 4 years old, beautiful, stubborn, perfect, and smiled. Because Daddy's very important, she said, and he wants to make sure we're safe. Am I important too? Her daughter asked. The most important person in the world, Jae-sung said, scooping his daughter into his arms. You and your mama and your baby brother. You three are my whole world. Rain's hand went to her pregnant belly. 6 months along with their second child, a boy this time. They were living in a beautiful house in the suburbs now. Jae-sung had finally gone completely legitimate, selling off the last of his criminal enterprises and focusing on real estate development and community investment. He was respected now, not feared, respected, and Rain had her dream job, traveling the world with NGOs, making a difference, changing lives. They'd built something beautiful from the chaos. Their daughter was already asking questions about how Mommy and Daddy met, and Rain dreaded the day she'd have to explain about accidental sexts and Mafia bosses and... Tell her the truth, Jae-sung said later that night, reading Rain's mind, as always. When she's old enough, tell her how her Mama made the worst decision ever, and it led to the best thing that ever happened to us. She's going to think we're crazy, Rain said. We are crazy, Jae-sung agreed. But we're crazy in love, and that's what matters. He pulled Rain into his arms, and she settled against his chest, feeling his heartbeat, steady and strong. Do you ever regret it? She asked quietly. That text message, everything that came after. Never, Jae-sung said without hesitation. You stumbled into my life at 3 a.m. and changed everything. Made me want to be better. Made me believe I could be better. You saved me, Rain, in every way a person can be saved. We saved each other, Rain corrected. Yes, Jae-sung agreed. We did. Outside, Seoul glittered in the darkness. Inside, their daughter slept peacefully, dreaming of princesses and fairy tales. And Rain and Jae-sung held each other, two people who'd found love in the most impossible circumstances and built a life worth living, all because of one accidental text message, one terrible decision, one perfect mistake. All right, my loves, we need to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us where in the world you are watching from. We love seeing our Melanin meets Seoul family grow. And let's talk about Jasmine. Would you forgive a best friend who spent 3 years lying to you but took a bullet to save the person you love? Team forgive or team never trust again? Comment below. If this story had you gasping, swooning, and screaming at your screen, smash that like button and subscribe to Melanin Meets Seoul for more addictive romance. We've got more Afro-Korean mafia boss chaos coming your way. What story should we tell next? Comment your favorite title, and we might just make it happen. Until next time, besties, keep making those beautiful mistakes.